Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, host of the program and owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many people are thinking of downsizing or moving to a home with less stairs, less maintenance. Still, moving seems like a daunting project. What are you seeing as the common downsizing mistakes, and how can your listeners avoid them?
Well, Richard, it is a daunting project, regardless of your downsizing at any time. I mean, some people have it down to a skill because they do it often, especially the military folks there, but they have movers. The military comes in and packs them out and takes care of it for them. But if you have to do it yourself, even if you're hiring movers, there's a lot of stuff that you probably don't want the movers to pack or touch. And so it's challenging no matter when you move. And there's a lot of folks that have stayed in their house for 20, 30, 40 years. And I hear a lot of people say, and I remember saying this when we first moved in our house, like, there's no way I'll fill this kitchen in the cabinets. It didn't even take 5 years before I filled it up. My husband's like, when I'm not home, he'll throw stuff and take it downstairs, and because it just becomes too much. But there are some things that will make the move a lot less stressful. But I will tell you just kind of a story that I would not have done it this way. They probably didn't have a choice, but it was just very difficult for them, where this wonderful couple waited way too late to say, all right, we got to move. We got to deal with this issue. And he was sick. He had a pretty tough cancer. She was also sick. She was facing memory problems. And you couldn't tell from talking to her, very lovely, nice person. But he kind of took me aside and he goes, guess what? Next time you see her, she won't remember you. I'm like, oh, really? So it's just strange. But she was doing things like she would just leave the house and walk and go away. And, so it was difficult for him to care for her as well as himself. And now they're selling the house. So when we did the staging, we worked with their stuff, trying to make it look ready for pictures. A lot of people with memory problems do not like things moved around. I don't like it. If I'm used to something being somewhere, it bothers me. But anyway, especially if they have those kind of problems. So what was going on is we set everything up and she went behind us and changed it all back and hit a few things. So we had a strategy. We asked Mr. Seller to, okay, take her to lunch, and then we're going to go do everything all at once, set the stage, get the pictures done, and then she can put it back when she's done. And that's what we did. The other issue was they had pets. Now, people get used to pets and pet odors in their house. And this was pretty bad. She had these two little scrawny poodles. One was black, one was white. She called them Thing 1 and Thing 2, which is exactly what they look like. And they were not potty trained very well. So it was difficult. We did get it done. My suggestion to people is, if they sense that they are ready to do this, don't wait until you have to go if you can avoid it, because sometimes it's a lot harder when you do it that way. So anyway, so some things to consider is basically most people want to move either because they have too much square footage that they're living with, or they have to take too much to take care of, like a big yard with lots of grass or whatever. Or sometimes they're not using all of the property, or they're having trouble with steps, like you said, Richard. Or my parents had a really steep driveway. I was so surprised they bought that house, but they loved it. And it had a steep driveway. And I remember kind of being nervous about my dad, doing snow removal on the steep driveway, stuff like that. But anyway, stairs typically, not always, but typically are what people want to be done with. And so I'm also finding a lot of people in my age demographic are moving closer to family, or they're moving out of state. And so it's interesting to see how strong that bond is. When their kids start having grandkids, they're gone. They're going to go close to them, which I think is really cool. So some of the mistakes I see are, the whole sales process. I'll admit, this is what I ask people to do. It's not fun. Okay. Putting your house on the market, having it ready to show, having to deal with people, strangers coming through your house, judging your home, picking it apart, all that kind of stuff. It's not good. And the best way you can overcome that really is to make sure it's priced right out of the gate, regardless of anything else. Price it right. And then I also have some folks that they're actually afraid of it selling too fast and being stuck without a destination. And it is kind of hard if they're going to go in their next destination and make an offer contingent on their home selling and it's not sold yet. Many home sellers will not take that offer. So we have solutions for that. We actually have lenders that will come in and buy their dream home for cash and then give them 2 months to sell their current home. And even if it takes longer, that's okay. But it means they don't have to pay for the second home for 2 months, which is really cool. But I think the market has cooled off a bit. I kind of expected the spring to be a little hotter than it's been, but it's just not. This last couple of years has been pretty good, but this year, springtime is not exactly sizzle hot on fire. Also, don't underestimate the cost of moving. It is not cheap anymore, and you have to be really careful about who you select. I had one gentleman, and he was probably in the 70s, and he didn't spend a lot of time online. So he went online and was just searching moving companies, and all of a sudden somebody called him. He didn't call them and said, oh yeah, we'll come over and give you a bid. So he got a bid to move him to another state. They came out and looked at the home. They gave him an estimate and he had to give a deposit. So he had to give him almost $3,000 up front, which is unusual. Most of the movers don't charge you up front. And when they got there on moving day, all of a sudden it was, oh, this is going to cost us way more. We didn't notice that giant baby grand piano. I'm like, really? How do you miss a piano? It's not something. Richard, when you go into a room, will you see a piano in a room? I mean, come on.
I don't own a grand piano, but I have a friend who does, and it dominates the entire room. You cannot miss it.
It totally does. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God. And basically they were trying to get more money out of him on moving day and he fired him on the spot. Get out. He had to give up his deposit. So you want to be really careful about that. I wouldn't say that industry, some are really great, but across the board, not all of them are on the up and up as they should be. Plus they might do damage. I had one client recently where the moving van got into an accident, really serious accident, and they impounded his furniture for months. So you never know what's going to happen. So you want to make sure you have insurance in place for that transport to take place. And we can recommend some trusted vendors that do that. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about some downsizing mistakes you should be careful of. And then we're going to talk about a few more when we come back. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. We have thousands of buyers that are registered just on our websites. Plus, we can typically find over 1,000 buyers that are a high match for your home. And we will be marketing your home if you let us handle the sale. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program, owner, proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty with the number 719-301-3900. We're talking with Barb about the top downsizing mistakes, more importantly, how to avoid them. So Barb, what are some other mistakes and how do our listeners plan to downsize but to do it with ease?
Well, Richard, I would say probably one of the more common ones is people underestimate how much stuff they have to move. People generally only use about 20% of what they own. And moving, of course, in general is kind of an emotional thing. So a lot of times people hold on to stuff that they really don't need. And then when it's moving time, they leave it behind. Like I have a client right now, they moved out, they moved to another state and then have me put it on the market, but they didn't have space for the motorcycle. So now I'm in the motorcycle sales business, which I didn't think I was. So, I'm going to help them because they're my client, but in general, you want to really think through everything that you want to keep and get rid of, and do I really, really need it? And when you declutter, what I would do is just take it one room at a time. Don't let it be this massive, overwhelming project. I already know in my mind the rooms that I would like to declutter in my house right now. And I should do it. I just haven't done it. But I'm just saying that just do it one step at a time. I would focus on the key rooms that are going to get looked at. Curb appeal, of course, followed by the backyard, followed by the living room, followed by the kitchen, followed by the master bathroom, then the master bedroom, in that order. Most of the time when you're showing a house, the buyers, we don't take pictures of closets and we don't take pictures of the inside of garages unless they're beautiful, which is kind of unusual, or if it's a barn or something. And even if you have stuff in there, it's okay. My team can Photoshop it right out. But generally that is your space to put stuff away that you want to take with you. And I would take a picture of your stuff and basically tackle those important rooms first. And there's a cool sorting method that you can use. One of them is, okay, this is the keep pile, this is the donate pile, this is the trash pile, and a sell pile. Now, I've talked to folks that have used systems like Facebook Marketplace to sell their stuff. I wouldn't say, from what I've heard, it's a very fun experience because you get all these notifications. If you're big on Facebook, I'm not. I'm banned on Facebook, I think. But if you're big on Facebook, just because I'm not on it, and who knows what's happening there. But what they'll do is they'll notify you and go, oh yeah, I want to buy that. I'm going to be right over. And then they don't show up, or they show up later and, oh, well, I don't have time to get there, or they get there and they don't have the resources to take it out. Now there are some consignment stores for furniture that you could look into. We let people use our moving vans for free if you want to downsize stuff, if they won't come pick it up. And there's also some wonderful charities that would love your used furniture, but you'd be surprised how many people won't take used furniture, even beautiful stuff. It's really kind of surprising. But in general, deal with the junk drawer, pick up shoes. One of the staging tips I get from my stagers is, especially in the master closet, everything off the floor. It makes it actually look bigger. And then trim down, especially the master closet, on stuff that you're not wearing, not using, pack it away or donate it. That would be some of the key tips. And also, if you need help, we've got some resources. So if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to talk to us about downsizing, that's one of our specialties. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, you and your team are the only company that I would recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes and downsizing to a smaller home. How do they get more information, Barb?
Just give us a call. I mean, we help people all the time. Just call us at 719-301-3900. We even have some free reports on barbhasthebuyers.com to help you with just that, Richard.
When you, I'm sorry, that was kind of awkward because I've never seen that before, but it was in the script, so I did that. Let me just finish up here. When we come back, we'll be discussing the top things to do before you even show your home. Barb will have that when we come back.